And things got even better for the Jewish people in 164 BC, because the evil ruler of Antiochus contracted a fatal disease and died. Antiochus' 10-year-old son, Antiochus V, inherited the empire, but obviously he was too young to rule. The unexpected events in the Seleucid Empire required the forces to be delegated to the capital, therefore abandoning the attempts to subdue the rebellion in Judea. And this was the perfect moment to retake the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem. The only obstacle was the mighty Accra and its walls. But even this infamous fortress could not stand the determination of the forces led by Judah the Maccabee. Today some believe that the fortress would stand where you see this red area next to the Temple Mount. And it was a very joyful day for the Jewish people to not only reclaim Jerusalem, but also the temple. One of Matthias' sons, Jonathan, is ordained as the new high priest. The temple is cleansed, but there is one problem. When they want to light the menorah in the temple, they realize that they only have enough oil for the menorah to be lit for one day. And that was a big problem because it took several days to prepare holy oil for the temple. And this is when the miracle of Hanukkah happens. As the Jewish priests were preparing the new holy oil, the menorah kept giving light for 8 full days until the new oil was ready. And this is why during Hanukkah we light a special type of menorah called Hanukkah, which has 9 branches. One of the branches is called the servant, and from that servant the 8 other branches are lit every day. Hanukkah is a beautiful holiday of the victory of light over darkness. But if we return to the book of Daniel, we understand that the story of Hanukkah is only a foretaste of the future. You see, there is a much more sinister prophecy about the little horn coming out of the 4 horns we mentioned earlier. Because when we read the 11th chapter of the book of Daniel, we realize that this individual has much greater aspirations than even Antiochus IV. We read that this individual will magnify, exalt himself, and say unthinkable things. It is easy to interpret that the book of Daniel says that Antiochus was just a foreshadow of an even greater enemy of the Jewish people, an enemy that will have demonic powers. He will be what the New Testament, and especially the book of Revelation, calls the Antichrist. And this diabolical person will do similar things as Antiochus did, but on a much greater scale. And if we want to know more about this figure, we need to turn to the New Testament, because the New Testament continues this story of this enemy of God and how it will unveil in the future. Antiochus was a pagan and he installed a pagan statue in the temple. But the book of Revelation says that the Antichrist will also erect a statue in the temple. And this statue will even speak. And this statue will be different because it will not represent a foreign god, but it will represent Satan himself.